We discussed that one, like Pearl loops and conditional statement. Already we are late. You can start at it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone.
Ma'am?
Please, sir.
Ma'am, before Arthur starts, can I say something?
Yes.
Ma'am, then tomorrow you won't be taking the class.
Tomorrow, Mohan, so that's the one problem. Tomorrow, actually, Mohan only will take the class. And one thing, instead of tomorrow I will not be available. That's why instead of tomorrow, can you write Saturday? We probably.
Internal? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I don't have any problem from my end. But then I have to check with the rest of the people if somebody has a problem.
Okay.
Also, people can respond here if anyone has a problem, or else we can fix it here itself.
That is from 10:30, I think, no? Saturday?
Ma'am, some people has the project meetings on Saturday.
I know. That
Ma'am,
Mohan will start from 11 to 12. No, 12, after 12 or listening, he will start. That I know. So 10:30 to 11:30 is my hour, no? Scheduled hour. Yes. 10:30 to 11:30. I know that.
Yes, ma'am, you're right. Ma'am? Amit will be in the competition on Saturday, so he won't be able to make it.
Okay, then one thing we can do. Tomorrow, I'll send the question paper to Pranav. Okay, but what time? Actually, my class 1:30 to 2:30 Mohan will take. Okay, so I request Mohan whether it is possible. But so that Pranav can send you the question, post the question paper, you can find it. It is Google form only. Today already I have started. Today night I complete quickly and then send whatever you want.
Saturday we don't have any problem, but Amit will be in the hospital, so he won't be able to make it. If we can arrange anything on Saturday for the students who won't be able to make it, then fine. Otherwise, tomorrow also we're okay with it.
Especially at least 15 days before we schedule the date that is covered. Okay, only Amit will not be available, no? For others? Okay, you will also not be available.
So far, he just mentioned.
Okay. Sajid, anything say? I will be in the
I'm not available Saturday.
Okay, then tomorrow we'll see. I will have to talk to Mohan. Actually, that thing did not come to my mind actually. So, okay, maybe students are available. Okay, then tomorrow okay, I'll talk to Mohan first. Otherwise, any hour is free for you? Let me check that timetable. AM is Friday. RK, then seminar hour. Seminar hour also you can write. If Mohan won't take the class, then fine. Otherwise, 3:30 to 4:30 you can write.
Ma'am, we can do that. And generally, Krishna sir does not take the last class. As in, he takes the morning class, but afternoon class he doesn't take.
Okay, then that also fine, no? 2:30 to 3:30.
Yes, ma'am. If he allows, then we can take the exam on that time, in that class as well.
Okay, then no problem. You can request him also. Then no problem. Then I only inform anything to him. If Krishna won't take class this hour 2 to 3:30, otherwise 3:30 to 4:30. Or from morning itself you can ask him.
But ma'am, at times he does take, so we can't really say for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I'll request them. I can request him 2:30 to 3:30.
And we can only come to know about it tomorrow. Like morning, we'll ask if he's okay.
No,
If
no,
we
no.
will take them.
Today I can talk to him. That's what I'm telling.
Oh,
Talk to him. Okay.
If you can please request Mohan sir if we can have it during that hour because it would be much more convenient. Also, ma'am, during the afternoon time, I have to go out for this eye checkup. So, ma'am, I'm really not sure if I'll be able
Okay,
to.
okay. Then I will request him. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
And some other day he can take my hour. Okay. Okay, no problem.
Ma'am? Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Subhash.
Ma'am, for MTech, do we have lab on tomorrow morning? Like we'll
Tomorrow, no, I will not be there. I will not come to university. If my work is over, then maybe afternoon, 2:30, 3:30. I do not know. That's why I'm not giving any assurance.
Okay, ma'am. So we have test actually by actually sir. So that's why I asked.
Okay, the morning I am not take. I cannot take it.
Okay, ma'am.
So now we can start the class. Can you start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then after you can start.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, I will start. Can anyone start this recording?
Okay, no, you can do. Let me see. No, recording option for me is not available.
Man, I started it.
Okay.
Okay, I will share my screen now. Okay, so first we will start with the Perl conditional statements, and this is very much similar to what we have learned in C, C++, and Java, if else, and all those conditions. Now, the first and the very simplest conditional statement is the if statement, and the syntax is as here. If, then in the parentheses we give the whatever text condition it is, and it should be a boolean. We can use the logical operators like greater than, less than, is equivalent to, and we can get such test conditions like this. And if this test condition is false, then this entire block will be ignored, and the rest of the following statements will be executed. We'll see an example. Okay. So these are the slides by Archana ma'am. I have just changed the font and everything. Uh, so, so, like this is a very simple if statement. Like we have declared a as 10, a is a scalar a as 10. Then we are checking like if a 10 is lesser than 20, then yes, it is true. So in this block we are just printing okay a is less than 20. That's all. Very simple if statement. And this is the flow statement. Okay. So this will be executed like irrespective of this block. Like it is just a part of the code. Then we have the if and else construct over here. So there is only one condition. So if it is true, then this block will be executed, and if the test condition is false, then the else block will be executed. And as we know that in what we have done in C or Java, that if only one statement is there for this if block, we don't usually give the braces, but that is not allowed in Perl. You have to give braces for the block. And you can try it and see it. Like you can try the code and check whether it is allowed or not. don't forget the braces, and you can just include any whatever code you want to execute within the truth block or the false block. This is just an example. Like we have declared a as 100, then we are checking like a is less than 20, and this is the truth block, and this is the false block, and this is the flow statement. Like after this print statement is the flow statement. So as this condition is false, it will ignore the truth block and it will go for the else, and it will just print that okay, a is greater than 20. That's all. Uh, is anyone having any doubt regarding this?
This is specifically for CYS students. If you have any doubt, just let us know. Okay, because I already discussed with the MSc student. If you have any doubt.
No doubts.
Okay, then we will move forward. So everything is same, just like if, else, and all those statements, but there are a few different keywords we will be using. So this is the if else statement. Okay, so we'll say an example so that it could be clear. So this is just a normal syntax for it. So first we'll start with if we'll check for the statement. Then if it is false, then we will move to else if. Now don't forget that there is no e in it. Many times we forget it, and this is the else if, ELS, this keyword is there. It is just a combination of else and if. That's all. It is just like just a condensed format. So if this condition is false, then we will move to the else, but that else also has this else if, and we have this expression question.
There is no E, ELSC, because we know the spelling of else is ELSC. E is not there. Okay, just remind it.
Yes, ma'am. And then again, like we can construct a ladder. This is just like an else if ladder. So, okay. Then else if, and the last we have included an else statement. We don't want to give any further conditions. Like if all these expression 1, 2, 3, if these are false, then automatically else will be executed. Like executes when none of the above condition is true. Is this clear? Does anyone have any doubt? Okay, I will move forward. So this is just an example. We have declared A as 100. So this won't change. A won't change its value. Now first we'll check that if A is 20 is equivalent. We have used the equals to sign 2 times, the equivalent operator. It is the same as C in Java. So we are checking the scalar with 20. No, it is not. Then we'll move to else if this statement. Then no, it isn't. A is not equal to 30. So we will again move to this last else. As these first two test conditions did not like those were not true, automatically this else block will be executed. So it is just saying that okay, A has a value which is $8, so it will print as 100. Like this is the output statement. Okay. So just like it is just goes on checking for every the test condition, and as we have included this else block at the end, so if none of the conditions are true, then this will automatically get executed. And also this else block is optional. So even if you don't give this else block, it is okay. Like it's up to you, like how what exactly is your code and what do you want to include it. What to share construct of the code, and this is just optional. Like all this part is just optional. Then, this is
Subhas, did you inform Shubhashish? He did not
Yes,
join.
ma'am.
Okay, already informed. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No problem.
okay. Moving forward, understand this as it is just the opposite of if. Okay. In if what we saw that if this test condition is true, then the block will be executed. But in unless it's the opposite. So if the test condition is false, then the block will be executed. Okay. Just like we have to see for this test condition. If it is false, then only this entire block will be executed. And this is just a simple unless block. Is this part clear?
Yes, okay.
Okay. Okay. Now we can see that we have seen if, else if, else, and this unless. So we can just use them in different permutation combinations, however you want it. So this is just a sample example of the unless statement. We have declared a as 20. So unless a is less than 20, execute this block. Okay, this is our block. But see, now 20 is less than 20. This statement is false. Okay, 20 cannot be lesser than 20 itself. So this block will be executed, and we will have we'll have the output where a is not less than 20, and then these flow statements will be having. So we just have to see for this Boolean condition or Boolean expression, and this works only for the false Booleans. So as this is false, this entire block will be executed. Now we are having only simple print statement. So first it will print this, a is not less than 20, and then again these flow statements, value of a is $a. This will be the output statement, and this will be there in the next line. Is this part clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Yes.
Okay. I am asking it once again because it is sometimes it is quite confusing because we have only worked with this true Boolean conditions. Like it will enter the block only if it is true. It is just the opposite. So we just have to take care. Okay, so we can use else also for this, like unless else. Now, as we know that this block will work only when the Boolean expression is false, and else will do just the exact opposite thing. It will be executed when this Boolean expression will be true. Okay, it is just the opposite of what we saw in if else. In if else the position was switched. Now here in the unless block, the block will be executed when it will be false, and the else will be executed when it will be the Boolean expression will be true. Okay, is this part clear? Okay, I will move forward. So this is just an example. I will just quickly go through it. A is 100. So unless A is equivalent to 20, this is our Boolean condition or Boolean expression, and this is our false block. This is our truth block. So this condition is false. So this else will not get executed. Only this false block will be executed. Okay, and apart from that, these are the flow statements. So what will be the output is given condition is false, and then it will print value of A is 100. Okay. Now again we can construct like as I said, we can just construct using all these keywords unless, else if, in different permutations and combinations. So we will just go to the syntax to understand quickly. So first we have included unless, then we have included else if, and at last we have given a and else block. Again, this else block is optional, it's up to you. Now, first we'll check for the Boolean expression 1. So let's call this as 1 first block, this as second block, this as third block, and this as fourth. Okay, now we are having 4 blocks and we are having 3 conditions. And when this program will be run, only one of these blocks will be executed. Okay, we have to understand it that way. So first it will check for Boolean expression 1. If this is false, then 1 will be executed and all else will be just ignored. And whatever flow statements are there will be executed. Okay, so suppose this is true. This first expression is true, then it will move to the second block. Like if this condition is true, now we are saying we are looking for true condition. Okay, first we were looking for false condition for this block 1 to be executed, but for block 2 and block 3 we are looking for true condition for the block to be executed. And if nothing of these 3 are means they are not matching whatever condition we are giving, then automatically the else block will be executed. We will see an example where it will be much clearer. So we have declared A as 20. So we will be checking unless A is equivalent to 30. Okay. Now this statement, like this condition 1, what is it? It is a false one. Okay. So this block will be executed. Okay, and that's all. Like in this example, only this block will be executed. And these are the conditions we had set it up for. Like this is the else if ladder we have created. But if you see now, if we suppose this first condition, if we would have given the first condition as $A is not equal to 30. So this will be true. That's why we would have to like ignore the block 1 and go for this second condition. But in this example, that really did not happen. So we will just ignore this probability. And yep, this is the concept of unless. Then we are giving an else if over here. And then there is an else statement. Again, this is optional. Is this part clear?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, ma'am?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Okay, moving forward. That's the end of it. So we can like just remember those keywords: if, else, else if, and unless. So only these 4 keywords are there, and you can use them in different combinations. That's up to you. And so that's all for the like what conditional statements will be having. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, then I will move to the next topic, which is loops in Perl. Okay, Perl loops. Now again, whatever loops we have had studied, like the while loop, the do while loop, for loop. So those things are same, but we are having a few additional components, like we are having few additional types of loops in Perl. Okay, so while we have done in C, C++, we will be looking at it again with a few examples. We have, until we have not done, then there is a for loop which we have done. For each also we have done, and we have also seen a couple of examples in hash hash is simple in last lecture, and do while also we have done. So this until is something new for us, and it is very easy, nothing difficult. Now we will just go through it one by one. So first is the while loop. While loop repeats a statement or a group of statements while a given condition is true. Okay, it tests the condition before executing the loop body. And for this we have certain terminology. We call it as entry control loop. Okay, so to enter that loop, the test condition needs to be true. Okay, for while loop, we are to enter the block, we are looking for a true test condition. Okay, then we will see the syntax. This is just the same as what we saw in C++ and Java. The while keyword, everything in small. This condition, the Boolean condition, and the statements, whatever statements will be there. We just need to look for like it doesn't get caught in an infinite loop. So these statements should be in such a way that after a few iterations or after certain iterations, this condition changes and we might exit the loop. So we just have to look for that it doesn't get caught in an infinite loop. Okay. Okay, I got it wrong. So, and as you know that for every iteration, this entire block will be executed. We will see an example. So we have first declared A as 10, and then we will be moving to the while loop. Now while loop is an entry control. So first it will check that, okay, whether this is true or not. So this is true. Like 10 is lesser than 20. So we will go for the block. Okay, this is a block. Now it will print value of A is equal to $A. So first it will print as 10 and then a new line character. And now we are incrementing this A, the value of A. We can also use an increment operator like plus plus. So this increment operator is also allowed. So instead of this, you can go for this. It's up to you. Then, like you can manually count it how many iterations will be there. So unless and until the value of A becomes 21, this entire block will be. Huh?
I guess it will be 20, right? Not 21.
Oh, sorry. Yes. 50.
What's your name?
Yes, it was until the value of A is 20, because 20 is less than 20 will be again false, so we will have to exit the while loop. We have the output over here. Yes. So when it reaches 19, okay, in this loop, when it prints that, okay, value of A is 19, then it will increment it to 20, so A will be 20. Now, again coming back to this test condition, 20 is less than 20 is false, so we will just exit the loop. And this is just an output of the the previous loop we saw. Is this part clear? The while loop?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's the same we saw in previous few languages. Now the until loop. Okay. Now we have to just look for what the test condition, how to keep it. So repeat the statement or group of statements until a given condition becomes true. Okay. Again, this is an entry control loop. Like it tests the condition before executing the loop body. So unless and until the condition is false, it will not enter the loop. We will see the syntax. Okay. Now, as we saw in while loop, we were looking for the condition to be true, but here we are looking for the condition to be false. Okay. Now, these statements will be in such a way that they will have some changes in the whatever variables or the conditions will be there. So this we will enter the loop only if the condition is false, or else we will just go for the flow statements. Okay, but if this condition is false, it will enter this body, this block, this loop body, and then it will keep on iterating unless and until this condition becomes true. Okay, it is just the opposite of while loop. In while, what we saw is the condition needed to be true to enter the loop, and if the condition becomes false at certain point, then we were exiting. It is just the opposite. Okay, you can make an analogy with like we had if and unless in the conditional statements. Now we are having while and until, just the opposites of each other. We'll see an example over here. Okay, this is a very simple example. We are declaring a as 5. Now, until $a is greater than 10. Okay, this condition is initially false. Okay, 5 is greater than 10 is a false condition. So it will just print. It will go for this block, and we are just printing the value and incrementing it at the end. So now we have to take care because it will go for 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, and 9, and 10. So 10 greater than 10 is also false. So it will print the value of A is 10, and when A becomes 11, then only we will exit the until loop. Okay, I guess we have an output over here. So, as I said, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is also allowed because 10 greater than 10 is a false statement. Okay, and then whereas 11 is greater than 10 will be true. This block, like the entire block, will be skipped and we will go for the flow statements. Is this example clear? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I will move forward. Now this is the classical for loop we have been doing since C. For has 3 parts in it. So this is the initialization, this is the condition, this is the block, and this is the increment. Okay, now first when the comparison feature, okay, here for initialization, we can initialize any scalar which we'll be using for iteration. Let's say I, and this is the test condition. This test condition needs to be true. Okay, again, for loop is an entry control loop. Up till now we have seen only entry control loops. This is also entry control loop, Now, if this condition is true, then it will move to the statements. Okay. And then when these statements will be over, after executing the execution of these statements, we'll move to the increment. Okay, so from 1 we'll go to 2, then we'll go to 3, then 3 will go to 4, okay, and after 4 we will check for the condition again. Okay, so at some point there will be such increment that the condition will become false and we will exit the for loop. So here is the most important part, like how to control the entire block by this test condition and the increment. We'll see an example. So we are declaring this is our initialization, this is our test condition. Okay, this is our 1, this is our 2, this is our 3, and this is our 4. I will just label them 3 and 4. Now you get that. First we'll initialize A as 10, then we'll check for the test condition. 10 is greater than 20. Sorry, 10 is lesser than 20. Yes, it is true. We'll go for the block. There is only one statement, but still you have to give the braces. Okay. All the loops should be enclosed in braces. We just cannot give a single statement, which we had been doing in C++ and Java. So this will be printed, then there is an increment in A, and this will be there until the value of A becomes 20 again. So when this A is incremented to 20, this condition becomes false, and then we exit the loop. And yes, here we have the output. Is this part clear, the for loop?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll go for it. Then we are having the for each loop. This is the syntax for it. Okay, for each variable and the list. List will be an array. And we have seen this in the previous class. Like we first have declared an array, APVC. Then for each name of the list, that is array, and we are executing the block. Now this block, for every iteration, it will be accessing the element of this array. First it will go for A, then T, then G, then C. Now, as I told you in the previous class, this is a special character. We haven't used any variable over here. If you might recall, we had the example of cities. We used $C as a variable, but in some other example we did not use it. We just gave this as dollar and underscore. So yes, dollar underscore is a special variable. So this tells this part. This tells about that. Okay, the element we will be accessing on that iteration. Okay, in that iteration. And here is the output. Okay, this is just these hashes are just for the commenting. A, T, G, C. These elements will be printed on a new line, as we have included a new line character over here. And okay, this is just the same as before, just a different example.
We discussed this in his last class.
Yes, ma'am.
For each loop we discussed it. Regarding the variable dollar underscore also.
Okay, ma'am. As we move forward, if anyone has any doubt, they can ask right now regarding for each loop.
Yes.
Okay.
Next the last piece, like, no?
Yes, only the do while loop. Now, unlike the other loops we saw, do while loop is an exit control loop. Okay. Unlike for and while loops, which test the loop condition at the top of the loop, that is before entering the loop. And do while loop checks its condition at the bottom of the loop. This test condition. Okay. Now, automatically means whatever the code will be there. So we have a few statements over here, whatever it might be. We will automatically enter this loop. Okay, and this the loop is given like enclosed within these braces. Okay. Hmm. Huh. Now, when we will enter this loop block, these statements will be executed, and then it will check for the condition. Now, if the condition is true, then it will again execute the block. But if it is false, then it will exit the block. Okay. In simpler terms, you can just remember it. Do these statements while this condition is true. Okay. You can do execute these statements while this condition is true. If it is false, then this compiler just exits the do while loop. Yes, we have an example. Yes. We have declared A as 10. Now we directly enter into the block. Now we will first execute print value of A is 10. Okay, and then we are having an increment. Okay, so this increment will it will add some condition to it, like something that will make this loop end, and this is our test condition. So first it will be 10, it will print value as 10, then it will go for the increment, yeah. Then A will become 11. Now 11 is lesser than 20, it is true. Okay, then it will again go for this entire block. Okay, now again it will print the value of A as 11, then it will be 12. Like this, it will keep on iterating until the value of A becomes 20. Okay, so only up till 19 it must be. Yes, we have the output over here. First it will start with 10, and after each and every iteration, at last it will print it as 19, and then when the increment happens, this test condition automatically becomes false, and then we will exit the loop. Okay, is this part clear? Okay. Now we have a couple of things, and then we can move forward. Now, nested loop. We can have loops within loops. Okay, we can use one or more loop inside any other while, for, or do while loop. So there are no restrictions on like how to use it and where to place it. So you can have a while loop inside a for loop inside a for loop, or anyhow according to your code, like what exactly do you want. And also it is the same with the conditional statements. Okay, there can be nested if, nested unless. You can use these loops and conditional statements in combination, like inside an if block you can include a loop, or in else block you can include another if else statement. It's up to you. It's up to the complexity of your code. But yes, there are no restrictions on how to use it. You can just use it in any combination. Now, this is just an example of a nested loop. Now, this red part is the inner loop, and this entire thing is the outer loop. Okay, now we declared A as 0, B as 0. Now this outer loop will be testing this condition. Okay, 0 is less than 3. Yes, that is true. Then B is again initialized inside it as 0, and then this loop will be executed. Okay, we have an output for it. Huh. Here, what has happened is, in inside loop, we are telling the value of A as $A and B as $B. And outside this while loop, in inner while loop, we have an increment in A, and it will print the value of A. Only the value of A, not B. So we can just use this as markers just for readability, and we are having, okay. So this is the first iteration. This is the second iteration. And the rest of part is the third iteration. And as A will be 3, okay, at the end of the part, A will be 3, then 3 is less than 3 is not true. So we will just exit this outer while loop, and as we are exiting this outer while loop, we have no access to the inner while loop. Oh, that's it to it. Does anyone have any doubt? Okay, we'll move forward. Okay, loop control statements. This is the last part. We are having the keyword next, and there is later on we have last. So yes, sir. So next works like what we had. If you can create an analogy, we had continue in Java and C++. Okay, it just works as continue. Now, for now, don't look at this if block. What is this while loop about? We have declared A as 10, then it checks for the condition that A should be less than 20 for this loop to be executed. So it just prints a value of A and increments A at the end. Okay. Now, as you can see that first we have declared as 10, then and the range is between 10 to 19. Okay, we have seen this example before. Now we have included an if statement over here, which says that if A is 15, okay, if A is 15, then this block will be executed, and we just skip it. We don't want to print 15. So we will first increment the value of A, and then next. Now this next what it will do, it will go back to the test condition of while. Okay. Next we'll go back to the test condition in whatever loop it is. So this next and whatever we'll be seeing at the last, it is a keyword only for the loops. We don't use it for any other if statement or else statement. These are only for controlling loops. Now 15 will be then skipped as A is 16. This condition will be false, and then we'll go for these statements. We have the output over here. It's highlighted over here. As you can see, we have a script 15, and we have printed from 10 till 19. Is this part clear? Okay, then I'll move forward. Now, what we try to do here is just, okay, we just want to continue. Like if certain statement has been there, certain condition has been there, like A is equivalent to 15, then we want to go back to checking the condition of the loop. Okay. Now we are just inside the loop only, and as whenever we will encounter next, it will again go back to the condition. So take care that include this next keyword inside and conditional statement. Okay. It should be conditional, or else what will happen? If you if you give the statement over here as next, or somewhere in between where there is no conditional statement or no modification in the uh, test condition, then it will go into an infinite loop. So just take care that include this next in an conditional statement inside an if, else, or unless, or else if, however you may like it. Then we are going for the last thing, that is last. Now this works just like what we had break in C++ and Java. I'm trying to create an analogy so that it would be better to understand it. Now, in the last example, what we saw is like skip 15. But here what we are trying to do is when we encounter 15, just terminate the loop. Okay. So to terminate the loop, we just exit it. Okay. Whenever we encounter last, this last will go outside. It will point to the outside. And the flow statements will be executed. It will just ignore what is before it or after it. Whenever last will be encountered, it will just lead us to outside of the loop. And again, this last should be inside an conditional statement, any if or unless or whatever. Or else what will happen, in one iteration only it will just get terminated. Like if you give last over here, so it will print value of a is 10, it will increment it as 11, and if it is last, then again it will just exit. We don't want that. So we can just include next or last inside this conditional statement. And this is the output. So it goes for 14, it is incremented to 15, but in what happens here is, as it is incremented to 15, it will go back to while loop, and this test condition says, okay, A is 50, then terminate the loop. That's all. Oh, ma'am, what do we have to do with the redo and go to statement? Ma'am?
This one, redo and go to. They go and talk. Did you learn that one?
No, I guess we haven't done redo and go to.
Okay, so again we recheck that one. Redo and go to. I have the example, but I don't want to show you now. First you try, go to and go to. That is why when we use this one.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, then that's the end of the slide. Does anyone have any doubts regarding the loops or the loop control statements?
If you have any doubt, you can mail.
And you will understand.
I think they do not have any.
Okay, well. And these things can be understood better if you try it yourself. Just try a few examples and try to compile it, and you will get to know that how we can just integrate all this while, do while, if, unless, according to whatever application you are creating. Okay, then. Yes, that's all.
Do you have class now? MSc and do you have any class now?
Yes, and we have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
lab now.
Okay. Okay, and I think I already took your attendance. Okay, we can
Okay, I will stop presenting.
Yes, thank you, Gautam.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.